When they hang up the uniform, they still serve. You're a scout leader to your kids. Service is in your blood. You're doing it every single day.
Thank you, everyone. I'm delighted to be here again this evening to present this award to our youngest winner. Please welcome to the stage.
Atmosphere, making our competitors feel like the stars they are.
Have you ever seen someone's entire world shift in just 10 seconds? That's exactly what happened when Meghan walked onto that stage uninvited, expecting Harry to hand her the microphone like he always did. But this time, Harry's grip tightened. His eyes stayed forward, and he did something that surprised everyone in that room. You thought you knew about their dynamic. Before we dive into this revelation, smash that subscribe button, because what I'm about to reveal goes way deeper than this one moment, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. And stick around until the very end, because the aftermath of this incident will surprise you.
Peer support tent, and it was some peer supporters from LA County Fire Department, and man.
Picture this. Harry's standing at the podium, microphone in hand, delivering his speech to a packed audience. Everything's flowing perfectly. He's in his element, discussing causes close to his heart with genuine passion. The crowd is captivated, completely absorbed in his words, nodding along as he shares personal stories and meaningful insights. You can see he's comfortable up there, in complete control of the room. Then suddenly, Meghan appears behind him during the presentation. She hadn't been announced as part of the speaking program, wasn't mentioned in any introductions, but there she was.
Now here's a video of Meghan watching Harry as he's giving out his award, and you can tell she is not happy.
Making her way across the stage toward him. Harry's entire demeanor shifted in an instant. That brief moment of surprise, like he hadn't anticipated her joining at that point in his speech. His delivery changed mid-sentence. His confident rhythm paused as he glanced back to acknowledge her presence. You could watch him mentally adjusting to the situation, trying to figure out how to handle this unexpected development while maintaining his composure in front of all those people. The audience seemed genuinely uncertain about how to respond.
Why didn't Prince Harry give Meghan Markle the mic? He had it. I mean, he had the mic this time, unlike the other time.
They'd come to hear Harry speak about his initiatives and projects, and this change from the scheduled program left them completely unprepared. You could almost see the collective curiosity ripple through the crowd as heads turned and people whispered to each other, trying to understand what was happening. Their reaction was remarkably quiet. No immediate applause, no cheers, no warm welcome, just this extended pause that felt lengthy and noticeable. You know that feeling when something unplanned happens at a public event and everyone's trying to figure out the appropriate response? That's precisely what unfolded here.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because Meghan Markle has done—
Except hundreds of people with cameras were witnessing every second of it. The atmosphere completely transformed from engaged and focused to uncertain and questioning. What had been a confident, seamless presentation suddenly became this improvised moment that left everyone trying to read the room and figure out what was expected of them. Here's what makes this particularly interesting. Surprise appearances aren't entirely uncommon at these types of events. There's actually a documented pattern of such occurrences at various functions over the years.
So the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, in as much as Harry and Meghan were forced to keep a low profile,
but what stood out was how differently the audience responded this time compared to other occasions. So subdued, so hesitant, so uncertain of what they were witnessing. Typically, there's at least courteous acknowledgement when someone joins a speaker on stage, some polite clapping or welcoming gesture from the crowd. Not on this occasion. The quiet response was impossible to ignore, and you could sense the curiosity rippling through the venue about what was happening and how they should react. Now here's where things get really intriguing.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stole the show at California's 1805 Live Benefit concert, and it was pure Hollywood drama.
The next morning, you'd expect every news outlet to be covering this unexpected moment, right? Instead, what appeared across your social media feeds and news websites were these absolutely pristine photos of Harry and Meghan looking like they were working together seamlessly on stage. Professional, polished shots that presented them as completely coordinated during the event. But here's what's fascinating about this media approach. They were all carefully selected still photographs. Major news outlets focused primarily on these static images. Rather than showcasing the actual video footage of what occurred. Consider this for a moment. In an age where everything is recorded, where every unscripted celebrity moment typically receives extensive coverage, this particular footage got remarkably limited video attention in mainstream publications. The images they chose to publish conveyed a very specific narrative. There's Meghan with her radiant smile, Harry looking engaged and focused, both appearing to present a unified front. These photographs were selected and angled, so viewers
Meghan Markle suffered an awkward microphone blunder after taking to the stage at a star-studded charity
would see the most favorable interpretation of events. The photographers clearly had access to video content. They were present, cameras recording, yet the emphasis landed heavily on these particular still frames. It's remarkable how editorial decisions shape public perception. You've got extensive footage from multiple camera angles, yet what reaches audiences often represents a highly curated, exceptionally polished version of reality. This isn't unusual in entertainment journalism. Media outlets routinely make strategic choices about which aspects of events to highlight.
So here's the moment everybody keeps dancing around, but nobody's really talking about: the mic. That tiny
This approach appears throughout celebrity coverage generally. There's actually an established methodology behind how certain stories get delivered to audiences. Some moments receive thorough video analysis from every conceivable perspective, while others get more traditional treatment, packaged with selected highlights and key moments emphasized. The video footage certainly exists. Multiple people captured it, various news organizations possess different angles. The strategic choices about which content to feature and how to present it reveal something interesting about media operations.
So she was snubbed by Hollywood. What's hilarious is that Meghan really did think, I'm told, that when she paid $12,000...
What unfolded next in this particular moment will demonstrate exactly why these editorial decisions became so important to the overall story. Here's where this story takes a fascinating turn, and it's all about understanding the background behind that microphone moment. Over the years, Harry had developed a very particular approach when it came to public speaking events. Whenever Meghan joined him on stage, he would typically share the speaking opportunity. It became almost like a natural routine. She'd approach, he'd make space, and they'd coordinate the presentation together. There are numerous documented instances of this collaborative approach occurring at various venues. At charity galas, award ceremonies, and speaking engagements, Harry would consistently include Meghan in the presentation portions when she was present. Sometimes he'd even work with event organizers to ensure she had speaking time when it hadn't been originally scheduled. You could see it evolved into such a standard practice that audiences grew accustomed to this pattern.
You ever see a couple smile for the cameras and still look like they're living two different lives? That was Harry and Meghan at Kevin Costner's charity event.
Harry begins, Meghan joins, they share the platform duties seamlessly. But this particular occasion was notably different. When Meghan approached him on that stage, something unexpected occurred. Harry's focus on the microphone remained steady. His attention stayed directed toward the audience, rather than shifting to coordinate a joint presentation. His body language remained oriented forward, continuing with his prepared remarks without interruption. You have to understand how noteworthy this departure was from their established collaborative approach.
There's an insane conspiracy theory circulating online that Meghan Markle keeps wearing a recording device whenever...
This wasn't merely about audio equipment. In the world of public appearances and celebrity presentations, Microphone time represents control of the message, ownership of the moment, direction of the audience's attention. For someone who had spent years sharing that platform, maintaining solo focus represented a significant development in their typical presentation style. The audience seemed to recognize this shift immediately. They'd likely observed or heard about the previous collaborative pattern.
Enough. Harry's acrid response as Meghan snatches the microphone out of his hand for her me speech,
where Harry would smoothly coordinate speaking duties with Meghan. So when that familiar transition didn't materialize, when Harry continued his individual presentation while Meghan remained beside him, it created this noticeable shift in the room's atmosphere. What made this moment particularly interesting was Harry's steady confidence throughout the situation. He didn't appear conflicted or hesitant about his decision. His delivery remained polished. His focus stayed centered on his message. Almost as if he'd made a conscious choice to complete his own speaking segment independently, for the first time. Now let's examine the visual elements of what everyone in that room was witnessing while all of this was unfolding. Meghan's appearance that day became a notable aspect of the overall event experience. She had arrived at what was clearly a sophisticated, professional gathering, and her styling decisions became a topic of conversation among attendees. The outfit she selected appeared to be a high-quality designer piece.
In what could only be described as yet another chapter in the never-ending saga of Meghan Markle's quest for the spotlight, Meghan recently
clearly chosen with intention for such an important occasion. The overall look represented her personal style approach for this type of formal setting. The garment showed her individual fashion preferences, though the final styling preparations appeared to follow a different timeline than some other aspects of the event. What captured attention were certain design elements that reflected her unique style approach for such a professional environment. The styling incorporated fashion choices that showcase her personal aesthetic.
Husband get in the way of the moment. As for Harry, the once proud prince has been relegated to little more than a prop in Meghan's never-ending quest for...
Which brings a distinctive perspective to this particular venue's traditional atmosphere. These details became more visible under the stage lighting, which can often highlight styling elements that might appear different under standard indoor illumination. Speaking of lighting effects, there's always a complexity with how professional makeup and styling translate under bright venue illumination. Sometimes what appears perfectly coordinated in regular environments can look quite different under stage lights. This seemed to be the situation here. Where the styling appeared more vibrant than might have been expected, creating a look that stood out against the event's more conventional presentation aesthetic. As the program progressed, there were some modifications made to the stage positioning. Event coordinators implemented various staging adjustments throughout the presentation, which is completely standard for live events. These professional modifications helped optimize the overall visual flow and ensure the program proceeded smoothly for all participants. These were routine operational changes that occur regularly at professional gatherings. For anyone accustomed to specific positioning during public appearances, such adjustments represent normal event management practices. The staging evolved from a more collaborative presentation format to one with distinct individual positioning for each participant. Throughout these developments, Meghan maintained her characteristic, gracious demeanor that she's recognized for in public settings.
Harry is too stupid. When I first met him, I told him that I knew nothing about him before I met him. He actually believed me and thought...
Her professional bearing remained steady, demonstrating the kind of composure that public figures cultivate through experience with various event circumstances. The evening continued to present interesting moments that would showcase different aspects of that professional presence. What most people don't realize is that this microphone moment was actually part of a much larger pattern of decision-making that had been evolving behind the scenes for quite some time. The public speaking situation was just one example of how various choices and discussions were being handled within their partnership.
The tangled web the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue to weave in their quest for identity and influence. Meghan Markle.
Regarding different aspects of their shared life. One area where this became particularly evident was in conversations about their children's future, especially regarding education and cultural experiences. Harry had always expressed interest in having his children experience both sides of their heritage, the American culture they're growing up in, and the British traditions that are part of their family background. He'd mentioned in various interviews his hopes that they might have opportunities to connect with both countries as they matured.
Meghan Markle has been accused of bullying a Spanish translator during Prince Harry's recent visit to Colombia. The incident, which took...
However, these conversations about the children's future involved numerous practical considerations when it came to actual implementation. There were ongoing discussions about educational opportunities, cultural experiences, and family connections that required significant logistical coordination. Any arrangements that involved extended time in different countries needed extensive preparation and organization, given their current residence in California.
Now these are like official and fancy because they've got the script books. There you go. Oh, wow. These are amazing.
What made these discussions more detailed was the range of practical elements involved in international arrangements. Travel coordination, accommodation planning, security measures, and scheduling with various family members all required careful organization and considerable resources. These logistical factors meant that any decisions about the children's international experiences needed collaborative planning and substantial advance coordination. The scope of these arrangements also extended to Harry's own professional commitments and charitable initiatives. His various projects and work often required him to travel and maintain relationships with organizations across different nations. Balancing these professional obligations with family considerations created additional scheduling requirements that affected the entire household's decision-making processes. These logistical considerations reflect the reality many international families face when making decisions about maintaining cultural connections while managing practical aspects like education.
Do we have that pap on the scooter again?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we do? Really? Same guy?
Same guy.
Oh my God.
Watched him going to this park.
Career commitments, and extended family relationships. However, their public profile added additional security and privacy elements to what were already multifaceted family choices. Throughout all of these planning discussions, both Harry and Meghan were working to balance immediate practical needs with long-term considerations for their children's development, education, and family relationships. These represented important choices that required ongoing communication and collaborative problem-solving.
Meghan Markle and Harry thought it would be cute to pop in uninvited Kevin Costner's charity bash in Santa Barbara this weekend.
As they navigated their unique circumstances. The reality of making these important family decisions while managing public attention and professional commitments created a situation where every choice involved considerations far beyond typical household planning discussions. What happened after that microphone moment provides interesting insights into how public figures typically handle post-event interactions. Once the public portion of the event concluded and the cameras were no longer focused on the main stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
The atmosphere naturally transitioned from formal presentation mode to more relaxed networking and socializing. Event attendees described the typical shift in energy that occurs once formal programs end. Harry, who had maintained his professional presentation style throughout the speaking portion, moved seamlessly into the standard post-event interactions that are common at these types of gatherings. His approach to networking appeared focused and purposeful as he engaged in various conversations with different attendees.
This was at the Kevin Costner event that Meghan and Harry attended. Just have a look. She's actually the background.
Meghan's post-event engagement followed a similar pattern of transitioning from formal presentation to more casual interactions. After maintaining her public presence throughout the onstage portion, she naturally shifted into the networking phase that typically follows these professional occasions. Attendees noted her engaging in discussions with various groups, which represents completely normal behavior for these types of functions. The post-event period at professional gatherings typically shows how public figures prefer to handle their relationship-building activities and social connections. While both Harry and Meghan are experienced at these types of functions and understand the importance of post-event relationship building, their individual approaches to networking often reflect their personal communication styles and professional priorities. What observers found noteworthy was the networking strategy that emerged during these behind-the-scenes interactions. Harry seemed to focus on connecting with specific groups and individuals, maintaining conversations that aligned with his particular interests and professional commitments.
Support tent, and it was some peer supporters from LA County Fire Department, and
rather than following a more general mingling approach. This individualized approach to post-event networking is quite common at professional gatherings. Many attendees prefer to maximize their time by focusing on connections that are most relevant to their specific work and interests rather than attempting to engage with every person at the venue. Meghan appeared to follow a similar strategic approach to her post-event conversations. She seemed to prioritize discussions with people who shared her particular interests and professional focus.
And our job. And it led me to getting professional help, which was key.
Which represents an efficient way to handle networking at large-scale events. These post-event networking strategies often demonstrate how experienced public figures maximize the value of their time at professional gatherings, focusing on building meaningful connections rather than brief interactions. What's fascinating about this entire situation is how it fits into the broader patterns of entertainment journalism that we see across the industry today.
Or controlled, because if we go back to Kevin Costner's speech the very first time,
the coverage of public figures like Harry and Meghan represents an interesting example of how modern media operates in the digital age, where audience engagement and sustained interest influence editorial decisions. If you examine the entertainment journalism sector, there's actually a well-established approach to covering high-profile personalities that focuses on maintaining reader engagement over extended periods. Media outlets make editorial choices based on audience preferences, digital metrics.
That I'm about to show you. The mainstream media is lying to us. They're not showing what truly happened, and the fact that there's a huge power shift.
And the need to create content that resonates with their specific readership demographics. In the case of prominent public figures, there's often a systematic methodology to storytelling that aims to keep audiences interested across multiple news cycles. Rather than covering events as isolated incidents, entertainment media tends to present stories as part of ongoing narratives. This creates what industry professionals call audience retention, keeping readers engaged with developing storylines rather than one-time news items.
Miss of Sussex decides she is the main character. The cameras caught it, the guests saw it, and once again.
This framework explains why coverage of the same public figures can vary significantly across different outlets and timeframes. One publication might focus on professional achievements and collaborative projects, while another emphasizes individual pursuits and personal development. These different editorial perspectives represent natural variation. They reflect editorial choices about how to present information to different audience segments.
From the senior royals and seated in the second row behind the Yorks.
The digital media environment has particularly influenced how celebrity stories are developed and presented. Online platforms rely heavily on sustained reader engagement rather than single-story impact. Media companies have discovered that ongoing coverage with multiple perspectives tends to generate more consistent website traffic and social media interaction than isolated news reports. This framework also reflects the collaborative relationship between media outlets and public relations professionals.
Celeb guests and heartfelt moments, making their first public outing since the UK reunion truly unforgettable.
Entertainment journalism operates within an ecosystem where publicists, journalists, and media companies work together to create content that serves various professional objectives while maintaining industry relationships and standards. The relevance of this industry context becomes clear when examining how different aspects of public events receive varying levels of attention. Editorial teams make decisions about which elements of stories to emphasize based on their understanding of audience interests, platform requirements, and the broader entertainment media environment. This structure helps explain why coverage of events like public appearances often includes multiple interpretations, and why different outlets might focus on different aspects of the same occasion, reflecting the diverse methodologies within modern entertainment journalism. What's become increasingly apparent over time is how Harry's approach to public appearances and professional commitments has developed significantly. This evolution represents a natural progression that many public figures experience.
Was made more so when the female speaker refused to hand over the mic, despite Meghan already having agreed.
As they gain more experience and confidence in their roles and responsibilities within their chosen fields. If you examine Harry's public speaking and event participation over recent years, there's been a noticeable advancement toward more confident decision-making and personal initiative, rather than following predetermined approaches to his public appearances. He's begun to demonstrate a more individualized style in how he handles various professional situations and speaking opportunities.
She tried. She stepped right up uninvited, in a wrinkled outfit that looked like it lost a fight with a suitcase, hoping to...
This growth is particularly evident in how he manages his charitable work and advocacy efforts. Harry has developed a more focused methodology for the causes he supports, often taking leadership roles on initiatives that align closely with his personal experiences and interests. His work with veterans organizations, mental health advocacy, and international humanitarian efforts has become more personally directed and individually guided. The transformation in his public presence has been gradual but consistent.
Affected by all the poverty and all the rest of it, but they were having none of it. So she was snubbed by Hollywood, and that really is pretty...
During recent appearances, Harry demonstrates enhanced confidence in expressing his own perspectives and maintaining his stance on topics he feels strongly about. This represents a natural development process that occurs when public figures establish their own professional identity and communication approach. What's particularly noteworthy is how this personal growth has influenced his approach to collaborative projects and shared initiatives. While he continues to work effectively with various partners and organizations.
But if that was acting, it was bad acting. Worse than Suits. Worse than her fake curtsy in the Netflix doc.
There's been a progression toward projects where he can assume more leadership-oriented roles rather than participating in supporting capacities. This development trajectory is quite common for public figures who spend years participating in collaborative efforts before gradually establishing their own independent professional identity. Many advocates and public personalities undergo similar transitions as they gain experience and develop clearer understanding of their individual objectives and preferred working methodologies.
There's even some people alleging that the Queen found out about this and her and Harry.
Harry's increased comfort with taking individual positions has been especially apparent during public events and speaking engagements. He appears more at ease when discussing topics where he possesses direct experience and expertise, and more willing to maintain his perspective even when addressing complex or challenging subjects. This personal and professional advancement represents the kind of growth that many individuals experience as they gain confidence in their abilities and become more certain about their individual priorities and professional values.
Why does he put up with it? Andrew Pearce said on the Daily Mail, "Good luck with the Invictus Games, Prince Harry. I hope they go."
It's a natural progression that reflects enhanced self-assurance and career maturity. What we witnessed on that stage represents a fascinating case study in how public events can reflect broader patterns in media coverage and celebrity culture. This particular evening demonstrated several important elements about how public appearances function in today's entertainment landscape and how audiences interpret these carefully coordinated occasions. The evening revealed the complex interplay between individual professional development and collaborative public presentations.
Vice President Francia Marquez by his side, Harry began his speech in Spanish, addressing the crowd with a simple greeting and expressing gratitude.
Harry's approach to managing his speaking segment showcased the kind of confidence and personal growth that many public figures cultivate over time. The various audience reactions, media coverage strategies, and post-event networking patterns illustrated how multifaceted these professional gatherings can become. Perhaps most intriguing is how this single event demonstrates the evolving nature of celebrity journalism and public relations in the digital age.
While intended to be a celebration of culture, turned into yet another display of Meghan's insatiable hunger for attention. The children on stage,
the editorial approaches, the audience engagement methods, and the behind-the-scenes observations all highlight the well-developed systems that operate within modern entertainment media. The presentation choices, networking strategies, and professional advancement we observed that evening reflect the kinds of career decisions that many public figures make as they progress in their roles and responsibilities. The unique aspect, of course, is that for high-profile individuals like Harry and Meghan, these moments of professional growth happen under constant media attention and public analysis. What makes this story particularly compelling is how it demonstrates the relationship between public perception and media strategy. The carefully curated photographs, the varied editorial perspectives, and the different interpretations of the same events show how developed modern entertainment journalism has become in presenting celebrity narratives to diverse audience segments. Moving forward, this evening serves as an excellent example of how public events function within the broader entertainment media ecosystem.
Exactly how the fame game worked. I didn't even dare list my Black heritage on my resume back then, but when Harry came along,
it illustrates the collaborative relationship between celebrities, media outlets, and public relations professionals in creating content that serves various professional objectives while maintaining audience engagement. The microphone moment ultimately represents something that resonates across the entertainment industry. The ongoing transformation of how public figures manage their professional development, media relationships, and career trajectories in an increasingly complex digital media environment.
Be taken seriously as a political candidate. Despite her commendable advocacy for parental leave and vaccine equity,
If this analysis of entertainment media and celebrity culture provided valuable insights Make sure you're subscribed for more in-depth examinations of how the industry operates. Hit that notification bell because we regularly explore the media strategies and industry practices that shape the content you see. Let me know in the comments which aspect of this media analysis you found most illuminating. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.